Hey everybody, and welcome to a medicinal wild ride with SteveO. I say medicinal because, man, are we full of questions and concerns about our health. And what a treat it was to be able to sit down with Dr. Drew, a practicing physician, and just run through all of our fears, our hypochondrias, our curiosities, and honestly, our goals and ambitions to be healthy and optimize our life. You know, being 50 years old now, it's really important to me, and so we were just really excited. Dr. Drew might as well have just come out and said, "Man, you guys are going soft." You know, he might have called us words for being like wimpy and sissies. And it's just pretty funny where he's like, "Yo, you got to mellow out." But hey, man, that's how we are, dude. We're very scared and sensitive people. So this one's a lot of fun. It's Dr. Drew. Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the universe, I bring to you Dr. Drew.
People of the universe, welcome.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so excited. Good to be with you guys again.
Good to see you.
A little's happened since we were last together.
Right.
The world came apart, COVID, all kinds of crazy shit.
Right.
Yeah, how long ago was that?
We were just saying that the first podcast we ever recorded in a parked van was with Dr. Drew, and it was a van that I was renting to test out if it was going to work.
Yeah, was that episode 2?
It came out as, I think it was episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough to be episode 1.
I don't
Tony
remember
Hawk
the
was
rationale.
one.
Tony Hawk was one.
Oh, yeah. You guys did something, I think, from the roof of the van or something. Didn't you, or something?
We're always doing
yeah,
something,
so yeah, so I think that's why you got number 1.
So we've got so much to get into.
Okay, I'm ready.
I don't expect you to know of the UFC fighting legend Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
No.
He is famously on steroids.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not getting this right. Testosterone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
Is that steroids?
It is a form, testosterone is a steroid. Steroid is just a backbone molecule of which all the anabolic and androgenic steroids are built. Like cortisol is a steroid, right? But cortisol breaks down muscle. We're talking about things that build up muscle that are a steroid. And testosterone is built on a steroid, yes.
Okay.
So,
But there's testosterone replacement, right? Which is restoring what is absent from normal production, like thyroid replacement if you have thyroid disease. But if you're taking a whole shit ton of testosterone, you were not on testosterone replacement. You were on steroids.
Okay. Got it. Now, we spoke to you not long after your prostate cancer.
Yep.
You said that you were not allowed to.
Correct.
To
I would love to take it. I would really love to take it. In fact, I brought it up again with my oncologist, and he's like, you don't need it. I'm like, okay. Well, I feel like I need it.
but you said after 5-year remission, you can look into doing it again.
No. What I said was, well, who knows if I because I've been so preoccupied with wanting to do it. Who knows what I actually said? But what would be more accurate was to say that when I sat down with my surgeon in 12 years ago, I said, in 5 years, you're going to put me on testosterone. I said, I'm going to get through this, and then at least I'm going to look forward to that. And when 5 years came around, I'm like, oh, shit, I don't think I should do this. And then I had a recurrence. Actually, since I last seen you, I had to have radiation therapy. So it would have been a terrible idea for me to go on testosterone. And so radiation took care of it. So,
Within 24 hours of speaking with this UFC fighter, Donald Cerrone, he linked me up with the company that supplies him with his testosterone. The company's called Transcend.
okay.
And they're like across the board, it's all about health optimization.
Yeah, listen, like I told you, I'm a huge fan of testosterone for women. Not enough of it is used. They do.
Wow!
Hell yes, they do great with it. Changed my wife's life. And they ovaries produce progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone, and it gets left out all the time. In fact, not only is it extremely important for women's sort of well-being and their same thing as a man, same stuff. It's much lower levels than male, but it still has the same kind of effect on vitality and libido and whatnot. And there's some evidence that if you're going to be on hormone replacement like estrogen, adding testosterone might reduce the risk of breast cancer.
Okay.
And and by the way, several studies just came out showing that estrogen replacement does not increase breast cancer risk, even by itself, even with progesterone.
Does testosterone make girls horny?
Yes.
Just like it does a man?
Yes.
So testosterone is the reason why
it can. So women, like I always say, men, we're a hamster on a wheel, right? We are all the same. Women, flight deck of a 747, and each plane is different.
Yeah.
and so it certainly pertains to hormone therapies too. It's like some women, you put them on testosterone and all they experience is irritability and aggression. Okay. And so you can see that, right?
I had a buddy.
I don't know.
I had a buddy in high school that would like only date the girls with hairy arms because he's like, dude, they got so much hormones. They're so horny, dude. I'm like, how does that even make sense?
It is an interesting sort of correlation, but hirsutism is not necessarily a testosterone latent phenomenon.
Do men with large feet have large penises?
There is some association between hand and penis.
Is it like the thumb to the?
To some extent, yes, some extent.
That's a true thing.
I mean, you're asking me. You're making me take literal. It has an association. There is a thing there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a direct correlation.
Where are we building to here?
Yeah,
what are we going?
like TikTok memes.
Everybody
Like
whip out their penises. And
right.
We're gonna.
So with the this
Testosterone.
company Transcend, they sent a phlebotomist out to take
test
my
you.
blood.
Yeah.
The phlebotomist somehow didn't take enough blood from me for my testosterone levels to be checked.
Okay.
Like you got to take for the testosterone.
We have to get total and free testosterone, and free testosterone is really what's important. Like in my case, for some reason, I have a shit ton of sex hormone binding globulin. It's like 4 times normal for some reason. It must be some supplement I'm taking or something, and so all my testosterone is bound. It's a lot of it's bound to the protein.
Okay.
It's not available for use. So, but my free is normal. So anyway, you need your free levels.
So I don't know my testosterone levels,
All right.
but based on the rest of the blood panel, which they did test, I got all kinds of peptides.
You're going to get peptides.
No, I'm already on
He's already
peptides.
on 'em.
I'm on peptides like crazy.
Testosterone.
Dr. Drew's over here like making faces like peptides aren't a good thing.
Well, it's just like, oy vey, the peptide thing again.
What it?
I mean, dude, let me tell you, Drew. I've got
testosterone.
I've got nasal spray peptides,
Yeah.
which they say is good for cognitive.
Yeah.
I've got droplets that go under my tongue,
Okay.
which they say is good for
Are you shooting it?
immune. I've got love handle ones, 2 injectables, 3 pills,
Yeah.
a nasal spray, and under the tongue drops.
And are they showing you the scientific literature, the evidence basis for what they're doing?
No, what they're doing is
No, okay, you jump right in. No, but
Yeah, they're looking at your markers and saying, "Oh, this is low. You have high inflammation. We suggest you take this thyroid thing."
what does inflammation mean?
In the body, I
You're
don't
going to
know.
have to define inflammation. That is a term that we throw around so casually that we don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Interesting.
What are they talking about?
Isn't it
High
something
inflammation
that's
markers.
What are they talking about?
I don't know.
I just need to know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about cytokines. You're talking about interleukins. You're talking about complements. You're talking about activated monocytes. What are you talking about? What are we even talking about? And where are they having their inflammatory effect? The reality is what we're usually talking about is the lining of arteries. The endothelium isn't functioning normally, or is being affected or being injured by oxidized LDL and various other interactions with inflammatory cells. That's a legitimate thing. If they can show me how they're documenting that, of which I know there's no test, but go ahead, show me.
So Dr. Drew.
Call me skeptical. I'm skeptical of all this stuff. I just worry. I worry about the supplements I take. We're in kind of a golden age of this stuff. On one hand, I'm really excited and interested, right? And I'm, I would never take it from you. I'm not unhappy you're doing it. But I get skeptical because you really have to show me the evidence for what we're doing, and we could be doing harm. We just don't know. There's no really good long-term studies that I know of for any of this stuff. I'm fascinated by it.
How do you feel, Steve?
I feel great. A lot of stuff is happening at the same time.
It's called aging. So that's what that stuff is.
I cut flour and sugar out of my diet for a full 4 months now.
You're not doing resistance training, which I told you to do.
Right.
You got to do that. Sarcopenia is numero uno for longevity. Numero uno.
And
have you read Peter Attia's book, Outlive?
No, but I've been swimming like a
wait,
maniac.
Slow down.
What's sarcopenia?
Loss of muscle mass. You need to read Peter Attia's book called Outlive.
Okay.
He is the best longevity expert out there.
And that's all about telomeres.
He talks a little about it, but he's really much more. He was a cancer surgeon, a brilliant guy who really just got into the longevity space. And I agree with him 1,000% on this one issue, which is there's one thing associated with longevity, and that is maintaining your muscle mass, both in terms of the organ system of muscles and in terms of reducing fall risk and other things. So you have to do resistance training to get it. Swimming is great, and better you do any exercise that you'll do than no exercise. Okay,
right.
So I don't want to take it away from you, but you really got to do resistance training to keep
it. Like T-bands, like
pick up weights and lift them.
Dr. Drew is a big fan of lifting weights, and I feel him. I'm on that. But let's also talk about stretching, right? That's hugely important. And what about your feet? You know that like a lot of people's back problems stem from problems in the arch of their feet, and a lot of doctors will suggest standing on tennis balls as a way to stretch your feet. Well, my boy Sean Hale, who's a professional skateboarder, has come up with a solution in his company called Avos Therapy. Avos, it's special slides like sandals with inserts that go where the arch of your feet are, and you got different sizes. You wear it for 5 to 15 minutes per day. This stretches out and massages the arch of your feet, and it alleviates back problems, all kinds of like terrible stuff that you can avoid if you use it. And they've got a 25% off offer if you go to avostherapy.com and use the promo code STEVEO. That's AVOSTHERAPY.com. And use the promo code STEVEO to get 25% off your order. And it's a lot more than just back pain. There's a lot of health benefits in using these Avos slides. I'm so bummed I'm on the bus on tour and I don't have them with me. But you should have them with you. So one last time, go to avostherapy.com, use the promo code STEVEO, get 25% off your order. Now let's get back to it.
Oh,
in every muscle group. So
all right. But now I am exercising because we're all competing in a triathlon very shortly.
Is it changing? Is all the peptides and all that stuff affecting your stamina?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, what's affecting my stamina is the more I exercise, the more I'm able to exercise.
Yeah.
Like I
but
swim.
you at 50, you should you got to do that. You need to do the special forces thing that I did. Have you been asked to do it yet?
I haven't.
Oh, you'd be perfect for it.
Is that with Jocko?
No, they're on to season 3 now. I think they just did season 3. But season 4 must be coming up, which is you go out and train with special forces in extreme environments. Extreme.
Wow.
Look up
Do they
special
pay you
forces.
A bunch of money?
They pay you. Yeah, but you put your life on the line.
And is it like a Navy SEAL boot camp that you do?
Yes.
And it's like what a week long?
It is up to 10 days. But very few people make it that long.
No
I
kidding.
certainly did not. And the reason I brought it up is because I was 62 when I did it. It was a couple years ago. And, oh, man, that was when I became acutely aware of the limitations of age.
Wow.
You should look up Special Forces Season 1.
Problem with the Wi-Fi?
No.
You said that 50 was easy, 60 was easy.
50 was easy. 60 was okay. I noticed it. 65 was, holy shit, what is happening? What is going on here?
Yeah,
This is crazy.
like 50s, especially because I've been making the effort to get in shape.
Yeah,
and
if you
clean up my
do that,
diet.
you can really push it back just with diet and exercise. You really can. I like I said, I do think it's a golden age of supplements. There's a lot of things you can do. I encourage people to just do it carefully. That's all.
Right. Okay.
I mean,
now,
to take 12 different peptides makes me nervous.
No, no.
And it's you, dude. it's SteveO.
Yeah.
Is Ozempic a supplement?
No, it's a medication. There it is. Yeah. I worry about it. I worry like crazy about it. Whenever people have lost the ability to understand that there's a risk reward with every medical intervention. We just lost it.
Our guy up at the front of the van, Skinny Vinny, is on Ozempic.
Okay, are you diabetic? Yeah, so that's who it's meant for. And
Okay.
it's worth the risk in that case. It's worth the risk. For you or me, not worth the risk.
Is it true people getting Ozempic jaw? Have you seen that meme?
They get
going
Ozempic
around?
face, and they also, I've seen bowel obstructions. I've seen people die from it. I've seen a gastroparesis. I'm not saying shit happens. It's worth the risk if you have metabolically significant weight loss, that you need to attend to,
Yeah,
and especially blood sugar.
I've been on it for a month and I'm down like 17 pounds.
Congratulations. It's good. It works. It works like an MFer.
Yeah, I feel like I just needed that extra push because I lost a shit ton of weight and I got to a certain spot.
Yeah.
And granted, like I was messing up here and there, but
Yeah.
I was just at a spot.
Where's your microphone, dog?
It wasn't. It was getting feedback.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So what? We're not hearing
He's
you.
going to yell across the room.
I got my mic.
He can share my mic.
Nah. All right. Well, Vinny's a great guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are we doing here?
I'll give it
What are we doing here? All right.
So and then this widespread use, you're going to start to see real problems.
Well, right. I mean, what I understand the major problem, let alone the fact that when people stop taking Ozempic, they just put on all the weight right back on. And more.
That's correct that has been suggested to be an issue, but it's time for us really to get serious about diet and exercise, as a country. And
it's been time for
it's
quite a
been
while.
time for quite a while. But if you can that's not, if you have a significant amount of weight to lose, let's use the Ozempic. I'm fine with that, and then let's focus on the real stuff.
I saw some news that there were concerns that Ozempic was going to be like the next opioid crisis. I clicked on it because, like, what are they talking about? And what they were saying is that when you mix eating disorders with Ozempic, it's like
it's so different.
no, but if you've got let's say hypothetically a young girl who's got anorexia,
Yeah.
she's trying to not eat,
Yeah.
like
You would not
already
give her
that's what-
Ozempic.
yeah, then she takes Ozempic, that's super bad, and that we're gonna have
how is she going to
widespread-
get it?
Well, that's the thing, is that the bar for getting the prescription is just
Well,
getting lower and lower.
Yeah. Well, if a medical professional gives it, then there's going to be consequences for that professional.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let me ask a different one. What are the causes for frequent urination? Because
for male,
yeah, you saw I just peed.
yeah,
I already have to pee again. Like,
a
what's going
million
on with
things.
me?
A million ththings. It can be carbonated beverages. It can be prostate issues of various types.
I went to a urologist saying,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on?
Yep.
And he determined that my prostate was fine. It was not
Okay.
my
Did he
prostate.
talk about spastic bladder at all? Spasticity?
I don't know about that.
Did you have long periods of time? I think about all the stunts you've done over the years where you had to hold your pee for long periods of time.
No, but you know what does concern me
Mm.
is I saw something about ketamine having an effect on the bladder, and I wonder, do I have? Because it was right about when I got sober that I started noticing, man, I'm going to the bathroom like.
I'm not aware of what the issue is with ketamine. We'd have to look it up.
The video I watched on that was from Vice, I believe, and it was called Ketamine, Peeing Blood.
So there's some sort of inflammation in the bladder, but you could have interstitial cystitis or something like that. Did he want to go up there and look, the urologist?
Did he put his finger up my butt? To
No.
check that?
Did he want to send a scope up your penis?
Oh God, no.
Fuck that.
Did he do any kind of emptying studies?
Well, he sent me home with like, what was it, like a a bottle, like
But they didn't-
I'd write down every time I peed
Right.
for the next,
Yeah.
so many days.
Which you didn't do.
I did.
Okay.
I did, and it just like anything, like once I started actually looking at it, that was like the 48-hour period
Where it
that
was fine.
the least
Well,
alarming.
it can be sort of a what we call supratentorial thing. It can
for
be a
sure, because I'll be peeing like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm performing a show on stage
Yeah.
for that hour, 0
magically.
Unless and until I had the multimedia component on the road with me, and then it's every video break I'm running to go pee.
So spastic bladder could be just some irritation down there. You're masturbating too much. Did you have it?
I've largely saved my my
Your
sexual
seed.
energy for my
Good.
relationship.
Good, excellent.
Are you peeing throughout the night a lot?
I definitely keep a pee bottle by my bed.
How many times you wake up?
At about every 3 hours.
And what's the feeling?
The feeling is that,
it urgency?
that I've been like, wow, how annoying. I've been holding this for quite a while. Like,
Is it like pain, like in the bladder
not
area?
pain, but it's just like
Or,
annoying.
or is it urgency, like I gotta go? That urgency feeling.
It's it's just annoing that I've been holding it. And like, okay,
Annoying that I've been holding
well,
it.
like
What an incredibly interesting way to.
It's like you wake
It's
up
not-
and you're
it's
like,
not-
God, I gotta go pee.
it's not pain, and like ostensibly I could hold it for longer, but it's annoying, and like now it's interfering with my sleep. Like let me
Well,
get up and pee into my pee bottle.
Does it wake you up?
Yes.
So the discomfort, whatever that is, wakes you
Yeah.
up. All right. So the kinds of things they do is they do an ultrasound of your bladder, make sure it empties all the way and how it's emptying.
Okay.
And then they kind of go up there and look at the tissue of the bladder, make sure it's okay.
How gnarly is it getting the camera up your wiener?
These days it's not that bad
Okay.
because the scope is tiny.
You never had a dipstick when they check you for an STD?
I don't think they've ever put. I don't think anything's ever
They
been.
numb it all up too. They put a bunch
Oh.
of stuff down there that numbs everything up.
Like, how do they put stuff down there to numb it?
They have a squeeze bottle that pushes it through.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Okay.
It's not something I look forward to, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Yeah.
I mean, it would be worth it if there.
I had one when I was a kid because I had weird leaking stuff, and it was a rigid tube, a rigid steel tube. That was terrible.
Wow.
That was horrible.
And then, like, what you're talking about, it's they put a dry Q-tip down there, right?
They checked me for gonorrhea like in the early 2000s, and she had to go in and out.
Now, God damn it, the
You
STD.
just pee into.
Yeah, you just pee, but you're gonna be able to do it at home. And not only that, did you know that if you take a single dose of Doxic Cycling after sex, you reduce the risk of anything by like 98%?
Of anything?
Oh, of any
Wow.
That kind of stuff.
What's
Bacterial.
doxycycline?
Tetracycline. It's we use to treat gonorrhea and syphilis and stuff, but it also can be used postcoitally and commonly used to prevent malaria. Blah 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 blah. But look at it for for doxycycline. Look at that. Within 72 hours, it has shown to reduce syphilis, chlamydia infections by 70% and gonorrhea by 50%.
Where was this in my 20s?
I've even seen higher. I want to distribute. I think patients need to have access to stuff like this. It's so easy. This reminds me of back in the days on Loveline when I was just trying to teach them what a condom was and what they should be doing. Now I'm like, you should have this. You should have access to this stuff. It's so simple.
It's like a antibiotic?
It's just a basic. It's tetracycline. Just a basic antibiotic.
But isn't it bad to take antibiotics
It's
so
a single
much?
dose. Yeah. Yes, I would not welcome antibiotics all the time, nor would I welcome gonorrhea.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a question here. And when I cut sugar and flour out of my diet.
Yes, which I fully, especially in this country, fully endorse.
Yeah. And,
Do you know that most of the yummy foods in this world are owned by the formerly of the tobacco companies?
If anybody knows that tobacco companies own food companies, it's me, because my dad was a big tobacco CEO. I will explain that. And since we're talking about business, let me explain to you how great ShipStation is. If you've built an audience online, then you have the opportunity to sell products to your audience. And there is no simpler way to do that than with ShipStation. You've got one easy to use interface which brings together any platform that you might be selling on: Amazon, Etsy, eBay, your own website, as well as all of the different carriers like the United States Post Office or the UPS, FedEx, DHL. All of these different carriers are just integrated into one interface, and they give you the lowest shipping rates like possible, rates that are normally for just Fortune 500 companies. And with that, you get your order in from the internet, and you print out a label, you slap the label on the box, put the product in the box, and it's out the door. And there you have it. It's that simple. And it saves you money. It makes it all so much easier. And you can try it completely for free for 60 days. That's a 2-month free trial if you go to ShipStation.com and use the promo code STEVO. That's ShipStation, ShipStation.com. ShipStation.com. Use the promo code STEVO to sign up for your free 60-day trial. It doesn't get any more risk-free than that. And it's time to make ship happen, man. It's big business. So go to ShipStation.com, use the promo code SteveO, and start selling stuff to your online audience. It worked for me very well, and I'm sure it will work for you. Now let's get back to it. Well, yeah, because in the 1980s, when it was determined as fact that cigarettes killed you, then
they started buying food companies.
Yeah, the tobacco companies.
And they took the same guys, same playbook, same lobbyist, same scientist, and brought them over to food.
My dad
was Ted involved with this?
Oh my God,
led the charge.
100%. Have you ever heard of the KKR merger?
Yes.
This was the largest corporate takeover in the history of the world, where R.J. Reynolds Tobacco bought Nabisco Brands.
Yep.
My dad was a big tobacco CEO for RJR Nabisco. Had an aberrationally good year that year, which was 1983.
Did he?
He became the president of Nabisco.
Has he come to the light? The light yet? Or does he talk about it as a bad thing? Or
I like to refer to my dad as mass murderer.
How does he see it?
Well, because he remember he was Pepsi.
Yeah.
So we're talking about soda, then cigarettes, and then cookies.
Yeah.
He did nothing but kill people.
No, and not
time.
only that, the way they're designing it now is explicitly to addict us and to make us eat more. And it's really, I was talking to a food expert named Kaylee Means, Calley, who has a book. I forget what the name of the book is, MEANS. And he was talking about, he was a lobbyist, a food lobbyist one time. He was just telling me the stories. I could not believe it.
Right.
And I was saying, like, how come when I go to France, I can eat bread all day and I don't gain weight? He goes, that's completely, like you said, it's a completely different kind of wheat, completely different preservative. Everything's different. Nothing.
Right. So I like everything else. I was with the drugs and alcohol, and then with the sex, and then really with the food.
And then with the sex, and then with the food, and then with the,
right.
You sound like an old Jew.
Right. Right. And then so the food, and it's actually this guy's brother, Scott Randolph's brother, Stephen Randolph. I wouldn't be surprised if you know Stephen Randolph.
Name
too.
Sounds very familiar.
Is highly active in a food program.
Oh yeah.
And a food program which identifies flour and sugar as drugs we cannot have. And it kind of helps to make it so black and white.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
because with
Is it a recovery program?
Yeah.
That's good. Recovery has such utility.
Yeah.
I like how they pulled up pictures of my brother.
So I reach out to him. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? He's kind of a mentor for my food program. And I tell him about these energy drinks, 0 sugar and like 0 calories.
Taurine is now a problem.
He says all day long. Because there's no sugar.
Did you see the new study?
Well, no. Tell me, how bad is this energy drink?
I can't believe you're drinking as many as you are, and
I'm
that
drinking
brand.
one per day.
This one does not look so bad. There's not a lot in here.
Oh, wow, good.
Could I have some?
But I can't read the. But I can't read. Oh, here we go. I can't read all the small print. Caffeine extra.
For
So they
people-
can
for
get
people
away-
who are listening, Dr. Drew is
Taurine.
holding a can of my Ghost energy drink.
So
zero
here's the
sugar.
problem. Literally today, it's funny we're having this conversation. Taurine has been tagged as a potential cause of colon cancer
Jesus.
by reducing the amount of sulfide producing bacteria in the gut and changing the balance of the gut biome in such a way that it moves it towards inflammation and towards
What does
what
that
else we're
have
going to talk
taurine in?
about.
Okay, so now.
Now we're going to go to nicotine.
Okay, well, here's what I'm doing.
Anyway, so taurine is on the deck for maybe being targeted as something problematic. So my bet is they'll just take it out of these drinks. So
Okay, this is not nicotine. This is
Okay.
caffeine.
Okay.
It's a special pouch like people use for dipping.
yep,
But it's got it's an energy
I'm
pouch.
going to go enlarge.
Yeah, you can swallow.
Did you really just do that?
you can swallow your spit, but you do it like this is my
Well, I'm a
plan.
big caffeine advocate.
Good.
I think caffeine only has benefits and I've studied it for a long time.
Wow.
And expecting to find trouble, and I can never find it. I can only find attribution of good things.
Okay.
What's the best form of caffeine? Coffee? Or can I inject caffeine?
Well, or would it be, green tea extract? There's all kinds of caffeine. out there.
Boring. No, just kidding.
What have I walked into here?
So
I can't read what else is in here.
Okay.
It's too small.
All right. Well, this
me see.
it says nothing artificial.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
right.
Lobbyist.
All right. Other natural flavors.
Why do you have to be 18 plus to have it? 'Cause caffeine?
Flavored with natural flavors.
Okay. You can't put the season 1 of Special Forces in yet. We're seeming to have. There you go. There it is.
There
No,
we
for
go.
the,
Alright.
put the trailer overview. Oh, here you go. That's it. Take a look.
Alright.
All right, take a look at us.
Ooh, I can see you doing this, Steve.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
It's Gus. Oh, you would love
You
this.
know Gus, right?
I was.
It's all jackass
on
stuff,
it.
but it's done out in the. First of all, it was 122 degrees there as we were standing there, and they full camp, full everything. This is a big hit in Britain. Oh, me.
Yeah, I mean, those
Harley.
Brits, they make the best.
Mel B was
TV.
with us.
Wow.
Kenya, Montel Jordan.
Montel Jordan.
Yep, he was great. Nasty was out there.
Mel B.
Yeah,
And it lives on Fox, huh?
yeah.
All right, I could.
Jamie the Spears literally saved my life. Literally.
Wow.
Mike
Yeah.
Piazza.
Piazza was great. Here he is getting unconscious. Danny was fantastic. Amendola.
All right. I will consider it. So caffeine is good.
Yeah.
Nicotine's not bad for you, right?
It's funny. Tobacco is bad. Nicotine is not bad, right?
Right.
And people get very confused about that. They think nicotine is somehow a bad thing. Now there's a full-scale assault on vaping nicotine right now. Okay. And I have mixed feelings about it. In that vaping, in every study it's done in, is the most effective way to get people off cigarettes. And vaping nicotine clearly is much safer than smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
But addicting 14-year-olds to nicotine, I have problems with. Okay.
Is there any correlation between like Suboxone is better than heroin?
Methadone, Suboxone.
Methadone.
A little bit, except that I would argue that it's a little bit.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of it's if opioids had no effect in and of themselves. You know what I mean? If they didn't trigger Nicotine's
Right.
caused dependency, not addiction. You know what I mean? The difference, right? Meaning you have withdrawal if you try to come off it. You want it all the time.
You're not going to rob a liquor store for cigarettes.
Correct. It's not. It doesn't have all that. It doesn't progress. It doesn't have the progressiveness of real addiction, of
Okay.
bona fide addiction, and but anyway, nicotine. It's a great weight loss adjunct. It's good for alertness. It may have some immunity. It's nicotine has got some utility to it, but I worry about it just giving it too broad
What
an
about
endorsement.
Zyn? Because this Zyn thing
Zen
is really...
is rough, man. I've tried that, and
You tried it?
Yeah, I got headaches and wanted to
Really?
throw up and stuff.
Why on earth would you try Zyn?
Because if I remember right, Bert Kreischer had it, wanted me to try it. I think
Really?
something like
Yeah.
that. I think that's right.
Andrew Huberman was talking about it, how it has like a nootropic effect, and it's good
Yeah,
for like the...
nicotine is not a bad molecule. It has beneficial effects, but we don't know in the developing brain. And one thing I know for sure, if you get dependent on nicotine early, you're going to be on replacement your whole life. That's a weird thing about it. Like if you get done cigarettes early, you're going to be chewing that gum forever.
What's early?
Like under 15.
Okay, I started smoking when I was 16. I smoked until I was 33.
And you're done okay
yeah.
off everything?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet.
good. Well, you weren't 15.
Yeah,
What's the link? Is there a link between cigarette smoking and pancreatic cancer?
Cigarette smoking?
And vaping in pancreatic cancer?
Vaping, no. Cigarettes, all kinds of cancer.
Because of all the chemicals in it?
In the tobacco, not in the nicotine.
Yeah.
And not just the nicotine itself seems to be, the tobacco itself and the chemicals seem really a problem.
It's especially the chemicals.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to the playbook
Well, for
of the big
cancer,
tobacco.
yeah, for the cancer part. But
Is
for the
it-
lung disease and stuff, it's just the tobacco.
Isn't it true that the playbook of the big tobacco companies is to put so much more stuff
Yes.
in the cigarettes so
Yes.
that actually nicotine is the least of which the cigarette smoker is addicted to?
I don't know that that's true, but they definitely had that vibe. They were going for that. They wanted that for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, it's isn't it weird? I was funny we're talking about this. I woke up this morning thinking about I had an old car that I drove that my dad had since the 50s. And it had a cigarette lighter in it. You know, these little things you'd punch in,
Sure.
and you'd pull it out, and it was a little red thing.
That's not even an old thing.
That would go into the 70s, right?
Oh, for
No, no,
sure.
my-
It's
Yeah.
the 90s.
Yeah.
Really?
90s. My,
Wow.
I had an 86
Even
Saab,
later.
and it had a cigarette thing in
That's
there.
European. The European
Yes.
cars.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
There it is. This is what it looked like. This is what they look like right here. That's
Sure.
I used to have
Yeah.
a fake pipe where you smoked pot out of that was that. And so you just put it in your car in the cigarette holder, and then you take it out and screw it.
I'm so proud
But
of
like
you.
the cops wouldn't.
Okay, so how exciting to be able to just sit down with Dr. Drew and ask him questions. Exciting indeed. And you know what else I get excited about? UFC pay-per-view events, baby. And this week we've got UFC 303 headlined by Alex Pereira and Yuri Prohaska. That is a rematch for the ages, and they're the ones stepping in to save the card after Conor McGregor was out due to injury. But this card was going to be epic no matter what anyway. I mean, oh my God. And this episode is thankfully sponsored by the UFC's official sports betting partner, DraftKings Sportsbook. And DraftKings Sportsbook first-time customers, that could be you, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code STEVEO to get a $5 bet. You place a $5 bet, you instantly get $150 in bonus bets. It's just bonus bets to play with, and all it costs is $5. No matter what happens, you bet $5 on UFC 303, you get $150 in bonus bets. I mean, that sounds pretty damn awesome to me, as does the main card. So, as I promised the UFC and DraftKings Sportsbook, I'm going to give you my picks for the main card of UFC 303. It starts off with arguably a lot of people's most exciting fight of the whole card, of the whole night. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Venom Page. Man, is Ian Machado Gary a lightning rod for polarizing people, man. Like, he's really, really kind of a heel. And then you got Michael Venom Page, nicest guy you could ever possibly meet. I met him a couple times. Nicest guy ever. Zero question that I'm rooting for Michael Venom Page. And wow, I'm looking at the odds for the first time. Ooh, Gary's slight favorite, but I'm going Michael Venom Page, baby. Now, then we move on to Moira Bueno Silva against Macy Chasson. Bueno Silva all the way. I think she's very likable, and I think she's gonna win handily. Roman Dolidze against Anthony Smith is next, dude. I feel so bad that I bet against Anthony Smith last time. I picked him to lose. He was a huge underdog last time. He came out with a massive victory, and once again, he's an underdog, but I'm saying he's going to do it again. Let's go, Lionheart, Anthony Smith. Then the co-main event, Diego Lopez against Brian Ortega. Both guys, absolutely great dudes. I can't even pick against one of these guys. I really like them so much. It's also a close fight. Ooh. I'm saying Ortega pulls it out. And then we got the main event, Alex Pereira and Yuri Prohaska. And it's hard to imagine that Alex Pereira doesn't have Yuri Prohaska's number after the last fight. Tough to go against him, man. But I'm going to go against him. Let's go Yuri Prohaska. All right, everybody. If you're a first-time customer, then download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code STEVO. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets. Enjoy the fights. I will be watching. I watch them all. I can't wait.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/MMA for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
And let's get back to it.
Can we ask him?
Scott's got this app where, like, you know, it's basically like challenging him to drink like absurd amounts of water. Like he crosses off like every pint that he drinks all day.
No, you put your body weight, and then it tells me I should drink like 108 ounces of water a day with my body weight.
How's that going?
It was. I mean, I quit doing it, but like I felt great. I had energy. After a couple weeks, I stopped peeing so much and just got regular.
What it shows me is that water can be a placebo too.
But so then we were talking about it yesterday about the
because
study.
I saw something that said all that water you're drinking is doing more harm than good.
I don't know about that. I mean, there is such a thing as overhydration where your sodium drops. You know, you actually have so much excess water, your kidney can't keep up with it. And there's another phenomenon called washout. The kidneys concentrate urine through this process called the loop of Henle, where there's a graduated sort of concentration gradient of urea that the water, the urine is going through to sort of help concentrate it. And if you wash out that gradient by constantly giving it too much water, your urine will concentrate that normally. You can kind of really trouble.
But I do not want kidney stones. And isn't that
that's good
prevention?
Yes,
is water?
Yes. Have you ever had kidney stones?
No,
Anybody in your family have kidney stones?
Oh yeah.
Have you been checked your uric acid levels and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, just I guess my normal blood work.
It's not on your normal blood work. You have to ask for uric acid levels, and that's somewhat associated with it. And the main thing with the most common form of kidney stones are calcium oxalate stones.
Yeah.
And you want to deal with reducing oxalate. That's a really important thing. And that's chocolate, tea, coffee.
What?
Reduce coffee?
Yeah, if you want to reduce stones.
So I should have an LFGO instead of a coffee every day.
What's an LFGO?
Or that
another one of these
pouch.
things? Oh,
yeah.
I mean, that's better than coffee. I thought coffee was good for you.
It is good for you, but it does the oxalate if you're a stone former, which we don't even know if you are. You never had
tell
one.
if you're a stone former?
It's hard to tell. You have stones. That's how.
Yeah, it's
brutal.
My dad like 2 years ago just got taken away in an ambulance because he was in so much pain.
It's awful. Yeah, it's terrible.
I understand it to be
worse
pain.
Where's this is the loop of Henle here. This is that thing I was talking about.
Don Henle?
The concentration gradient, not loop of Don Henle. That's the glomerulus. There's the proximal tubule and the distal tubule, which don't seem to be on this thing. Okay.
But 108 ounces of water per day doesn't sound like an alarming amount.
Not if you're eating normally. because that also
Eating normally?
Like, what if you're eating a lot?
Hey, hey, wait a minute. Excuse me? Yeah. I wonder if you overeat. No, but like I'll overeat.
I think more about undereating.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's definitely not under
Yeah.
eating.
But the study that you pulled up yesterday said 64 ounces of water a day is too much.
Oh, I didn't know that I pulled anything
It
up.
was Dr. Gerd or some BS.
Dr. Gerd.
You remember pulling that up yesterday, Isaac or Vinny? And it said 64, and I was like, get out of here.
Okay. 9 to 13 cups. Try to drink no more than 9 to 13 cups. It's a pretty
Yeah, that's
broad
normal.
range.
A cup is 8 ounces.
Yeah, so,
80 to 120.
Yeah. To me, 100 sounds okay. I mean, I'm a weird over drinker of water naturally. I try to figure out why it is. I wondered if I had washout or something in my kidneys. I think my mouth gets dry really easily, and so when I work out, I drink a lot of water. Like I can't work out without it.
What about the phenomenon of hydrogen water? The water that bubbles and it creates the double molecule of hydrogen.
Whatever.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those infomercials?
I've seen all sorts of stuff about basic water and H3O and bar. Yeah, it all seems.
Yeah,
like,
these things. I bought one.
of course,
Oh, God.
Get him so proud. $80.
Okay.
I'm sure it doesn't hurt.
Okay.
You got to be familiar with the Whoop band.
No.
You're not?
Tell me about
Yeah,
that.
you're a prolific podcaster.
Yeah, tell me.
I
What is
mean,
it?
it's a fitness tracking device.
So I wear a Aura ring. That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're doing triathlons and stuff, so you need extra information.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're
So-
gonna get the most
Yeah.
information from a Whoop band.
Okay.
I love it. I have in the range of heart rate variability.
Yep.
HRV.
Mhm.
Mine is just going off like.
Well,
like,
tell them what your numbers are sometimes.
Because of all this working out, or because of this shit you're drinking, snooze and.
I don't know why is
Because
And
he'll
then-
have like 130 HRV.
Yeah, I mean that's all this stuff.
And
Stimulus
he's all
you're
proud
taking.
of it, and we have no idea what it is.
Today I have 98% recovery and 146 HRV.
I don't know what the HRV is heart rate variability, right?
Right. Yeah.
So and is that a good thing on that scale?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
higher HRVs, the better.
Okay.
What,
So
what is HRV?
You're recovering. How do you recover, essentially? And so,
well,
okay, good for you.
I thought it's like the distance in between the beats, right? Or
Yes.
Now we're talking about heart beats. I might as well show you my alarming doctor visit. I went to.
So you're running a slow, most of the time running a slow pulse, essentially.
I guess.
Yeah, let me
Well,
see-
what's
let
your
me see what
resting
your
heart
pulse- Let me
rate?
see what it is. Give me your.
when you wake up in the morning, what's your resting heart rate?
Give me your other hand. I can't. You've got so much shit on your wrist. I can't get at it. There we go. You barely have a blood pressure too. So cock your wrist back a little bit for me. You run low.
I've got well, my blood pressure they always say is really good.
Yeah, low.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Yeah.
I had him check his heart rate before he went up on stage because mine was like 160.
This is so rare for me. I can normally check people's pulse in a second. I cannot freaking find yours.
Okay.
I had him.
That's weird for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go up here. God, you have no you alive? You have no blood pressure.
Saw that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Before he went on stage, it was like 51.
Yeah, that's about what I'm getting, like 47. So that's all that HRV. So good for you.
All right. Okay, so I've got a leaky mitral valve
Okay.
in my heart.
Do you know the story? We talked about this
Yeah,
before. Yeah.
I have one too.
Yeah. So it's nothing.
Okay, no, he said it'll be okay, but we've got I go over to this doctor's computer and he says right here you got it's leaking out, like the blue stuff.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
and you can make sense. So we're looking
Yeah.
at
It's an echocardiogram. The red is the blood where it should be going.
we're looking at a sonogram.
We're
of my
looking
heart.
we're looking at blood flowing through a ventricle. Yep.
Okay, so not to be concerned. He said we'll check back in 3 years.
Yeah.
But we got to keep an eye on it.
Keep an eye on it because as you get much older, it is potential to become a problem. Usually it isn't.
My dad has a pacemaker.
Different thing.
Okay.
But sometimes the blowback of that blood can enlarge the atria, and that can cause problems with rhythms and things. But I don't know. I'd like to see more of the numbers.
Do you have high cholesterol? Because I
don't think so.
I got high cholesterol, and I got.
You guys are getting to be like Alta cockers, worrying about your health all the time.
Yeah.
It's like all you think about is I'm gonna be old. I'm gonna get sick. What's going on?
I got sleep apnea.
You do?
Yeah.
God, that would be not something I would expect from you.
Is
it getting worse with the training you're doing? Because I get it when I'm chronically dehydrated from running.
I don't know if it's getting worse, and I wouldn't necessarily care. But my fiance Lux, she reports that in my sleep I'm like no breathing, and then
oh yeah,
I've been doing that.
It really freaks her out.
Yeah, sure.
So she insisted that I do the sleep study. It determined that I do have I'm like mild to moderate.
Is it obstructive sleep apnea, or is it?
I don't know.
Central sleep apnea.
That's a great question. And like, what first tipped me off to it? I had a TV show that I needed to get medically cleared for, so I went in for like a standard physical to this doctor, and the doctor had a flashlight looking at the back of my throat.
Yeah.
And she asked, "Do you ever sleep an entire full night's sleep and then wake up still feeling tired and unrested?" And I said, "Absolutely. Oh my God, this has been like driving me crazy forever."
Yeah.
She said that the opening at the back of my throat
Too small.
is particularly narrow, and that might be precluding me from getting.
And so they do something called a uvulopalotoplasty. They open it up. I wouldn't recommend it. How about getting a device that lifts that?
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
I never got around to it.
Yeah, that's a pretty simple thing.
Yeah, I tried the CPAP machine back in 2015.
That's sexy.
Just couldn't do it.
You ever seen one of those?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like a duckbill platypus.
I use it. You know,
it didn't help though.
What do you call the guy from the Batman movie? Like
Bane.
Bane.
Yeah.
Did it help?
I don't know if it helps, but my lady loves for me to do it. Like she just cares about me.
Oh, I see.
The concern is that sleep apnea is bad for your heart.
Really bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So if when we went to see Tyler, the Hollywood Medium.
Yeah.
And you were there.
Yeah.
He told me, like the psychic, he said, "Oh, I'm getting something with your heart. Like watch. Be careful with your heart. Keep an eye on it."
Wow.
And so then Lux put that together with the sleep apnea, and she's like, "Oh,
there's a new thing. Let me tell you about it. I did it for a television show I was working on, where they can calcium scores.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at 50, it's not a bad idea to get one of those.
You got one at the UCLA when you did the extensive.
Well, yeah,
I got one too, though.
Okay, but coronary calcium scores are just a way of alerting us that we ought to look further, essentially. But they have new ones now that are AI directed and are actually angiograms, and you can see exactly what's going on. And I did it for the TV show, and lo and behold, I was 000 forever. All of a sudden, my score went up, and on that angiogram, I had a problem. And I was talking to the guys. I said, I had a suspicion. I had bad COVID, right? And when I was in this house climbing the stairs, 103 fever, and I took my pulse, it was like 50. I went, oh, this is affecting the heart for sure. That's not normal. And he said, yeah, we're seeing a lot of heart disease suddenly in people that didn't have it before. They don't know if it's post-COVID or post-vaccine or both, but they think it's primarily COVID. And so if you had bad COVID, you might want to get one of those angiograms.
So I
can set that up for you.
I had COVID, and the only way that I knew is because they tested me.
Yeah. I remember that.
I otherwise would have had no idea.
But anyway, so there's just FYI for people that, it's a thing now we're having to deal with. I've seen some very strange coronary anatomy and stuff in people.
So calcium score is a test that I'm going to get to determine risks I have for heart disease.
For coronary artery disease, which is when we say heart disease, that's normally what we're talking about. You have valvular heart disease, technically, even though it's a very common form, which is just a leaky mitral valve, which usually doesn't progress significantly. Usually it doesn't.
Yeah, I have high blood pressure, and when I went to the UCLA, they said based on my cholesterol, my high blood pressure, they wanted to do a calcium score.
Yeah.
And they said if I have anything a 1 and above, they're going to put me on something to drop my blood pressure right away.
Yeah.
And I had a 0, and he's like, okay, we'll come back and we'll worry about that later. And then what I've been noticing, I've been doing my blood pressure at home. when I get into the ice bath, about an hour after I do the ice bath, my blood pressure is normal.
How do you guys have time to do anything else except fuck around with your health?
I know it's becoming a hobby after 40. But yeah, I mean, is that like biohacking and ice baths and saunas?
I hate that term. I hate it.
How come?
Because it really flies in the face of how biology works, which is all probabilistic. Everything's a big probability equation, and hacking is about bypassing a certain mathematical algorithmic pathway, and it just doesn't.
Another interesting.
It's too literal. I don't like it.
Another interesting biohack that I did. On the Whoop strap, it has deep sleep, REM, awake, and like light sleep. And I noticed my REM sleep wasn't enough. It was always like in the red, but my
I
deep
can't
sleep
get enough
was
deep sleep for some reason. It's weird.
But isn't REM the best?
Yeah, but the really hygiene, it's proper balance is the best. Next would be REM. Next would be deep.
Can you explain the reasoning behind the different cycles or what the benefits are?
I always thought, I'm not an expert in this by any means. I knew you had to have a certain amount of restorative sleep, right? Look at this. It says you need a balance of around 25% REM, 25% deep, non-REM to maintain your health and well-being. Yeah, REM, I was always trained, was important for the sort of the clean out process of the inflammatory mediators.
That's what you said.
Yeah,
right?
they're saying it's like a pressure washing of like the plaque off your brain when you get
sort of. Yeah, I love these bullshit terms, but go ahead. Yes, it's a pressure washing of zombie cells.
Well, they got to make podcasts interesting. It was a sleep doctor podcast, which was interesting.
Yeah, but I've been recently alerted to the fact that deep sleep may have some role in all that too. So I don't know. Point is, we need to attend to our sleep hygiene. That's the point. And if you're not getting enough REM sleep, that is numero uno. Make sure you get that.
Okay.
And there's also some data. My dad, who was a doctor, used to go, don't worry, the REM, you'll catch up on REM, And some of the data now suggests, you'll kind of catch up on REM, but you won't get the benefits that you need.
We all, I think, take sleep super seriously.
That is something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the biggest fight I ever had with Lux was New Year's Day of 2020. Like the alarm goes off at like 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like we were up past midnight. It's like there's nothing on our calendar that you have to get to.
Yeah.
She's like, I just wanted to be productive. I'm like you just screwed up sleep, and it didn't have to.
I get it.
I got very mad.
Mm-hmm. People that make me mad are people that only need 4 hours of sleep at night. There are people that just don't need sleep.
I get 5.5, 6 every night.
That's all you need?
I'll try to take a nap during the day, but
I used to live on 5, and it was not enough.
It's not good either.
It's not good.
8's the sweet spot, right?
And especially again as you age, a lot of these things become much more relevant as you age. That's when you can really hurt yourself if you don't pay attention.
Yeah, I'm a psycho for sleep. I need 9 hours in bed to get 8 hours of sleep.
Right.
Could I ask you about?
Because you're peeing all night.
Yeah. Can I ask you about AI and medical field? And
how do you guys get through your day with all these questions about your body and your head? You've been saving them up for me, or
he's like the kind of scared, like hypochondriac.
I want to say one thing: live.
Yeah.
Living is what's important. Living your life, living it well.
Right.
Not the way you used to do it, Steve.
I think I'm more like optimization.
Yes, you want to pay attention to things you can. You should be knowledgeable. You should be. And you guys aren't doing resistance training. I mean, the one thing that really we know is important, you're not doing that. So we get a little crazy with these things. But make sure you're living your life. People get like that guy that's trying to live to 100 or whatever. He's living in essentially a glass bubble.
Yeah.
That guy is
hero.
already dead. He's already dead as far as I'm concerned.
Bubble boy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, can I?
But is the doctor's job at risk, like so many other jobs with AI?
It's interesting. It's not at risk because you always need surgery. You always need people's judgment and direction. You always need interpersonal There's so much that we provide as physicians that you will just always need. But I do believe that we need to put the healthcare more in the hands of patients. I was saying that about the Doxic Cycling earlier and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think because they have fucked up the doctor-patient relationship so much with making doctors employees and insurance resources and drug companies.
And 8-minute visits.
Yeah, they've just screwed it up so much. I think they have naturally moved us in a direction where the only option is to put the caretaking and the control in the hands of patients. They need to have, so AI to me will give them more control, and so I'm all in favor of it.
Okay.
And certainly AI could reduce the cost of healthcare, which already is, physicians, people are going to stop taking that job. They're going to stop doing the training and stuff because it's just not worth it anymore. And only people that have it as a calling are going to do it, and that's good. It should be, because otherwise it's very frustrating.
Can you see AI having a place in addiction treatment?
Yeah, I mean, it all can help. I mean, much like Google searches help, but I don't see it replacing anything yet in addiction treatment.
Not like a Neuralink.
Oh, could we put something in your? See, here's the thing that worries about Neuralink is yes, the something like Neuralink could one day help something like addiction. What people don't understand is that when you open a skull, it changes people's personality. Not all the time, but it can. And when you touch the surface of the brain, you kill a shit ton of cells. So you're literally changing the person just by doing the procedure. And these are little plastic devices that need to be replaced every 6 months or something. So we don't, now if you're paralyzed and it's worth the risk of all that and you're going to get some function back, okay. But if you're a drug addict who should be doing a few other things, and by the way, the biology in drug addiction is way deep, and so we're going to have to drop something into places that, are problematic, in terms of an otherwise young, healthy person's brain. But if it's killing them and nothing else to do, then it makes sense it might have some utility one day.
Okay. Where do you stand on near-death experiences?
Are they real?
Yeah.
I drop back into the position of it's something the brain does at the time of death. People, because when you cut off oxygen to the brain, people see a white light. That's what they see. That's why people do it when they're masturbating and things. It goes whew, and they get high and they do all kinds of things. Now, the question is, are they seeing something real? I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, how about this? People report these fantastic experiences of what's called life review, when they have their near-death experience.
Yeah.
And it's this concept of your life flashes before your eyes, but it's so much more than that. Because
I had a near-death experience, not with dying, but with almost falling off a cliff. And I was young. I was like 16 years old, and I was rock climbing on a cliff as I shouldn't have, and I started sliding off, and I was way up high, and I thought, oh my God, I have to give it everything now. And I was in like a chimney, and I was gonna have to force myself up that chimney and throw myself onto this ledge, and I just gave it everything I got. But just before I did that, my life flashed before my eyes, and it's odd. It's not like a movie. It's like your entire life, at least this is how I experienced it in that moment, condenses to a dot, and you experience it all simultaneously. It's like this dot of your life. It's the weirdest thing, but you're aware, you're connected to all of it at the same time.
Instantaneous, rapid manner. Yeah, and people report,
yeah, that's it. It's an instantaneous dot. It's like your life just condenses to this thing.
But with ultimate detail. And they talk about...
I didn't experience that so much because I was busy trying to survive, but I was just aware that I was in the presence of my entire life, and it was this tiny thing. It was weird.
People experience all the influence they had on other people as the other people. Have you heard of that?
As the other people?
Well, yeah, like everybody who
you feel how you made them feel.
Oh, all these connections to these bigger than life experiences, I humbly, because I don't know, believe there's something there.
Okay,
because I believe in the sense that I think our brain is a very limited instrument. I think we it's designed to do certain things, and everything else is everything else. And we have all sorts of uncanny experiences that we all can sort of talk about and call upon. And I don't know that, they may be touching something that's outside of what our brain was evolved to do. And so, just when you think about it, of course you go, I can't experience everything. I can't really experience what's actually real. I'm just experiencing what's in front of me, not the totality of reality.
I have a sort of vague belief that the brain is not a generator of consciousness.
So you think it accesses consciousness?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think consciousness is an interpersonal experience. I don't think you would have anything like what we call consciousness. Like if you got lost in the woods at 6 months of age and you came out at 15, would you be conscious? You would have no self. You'd have no regulation of emotions. You would be just an animal, and you'd be awake, but you wouldn't have consciousness the way we think of consciousness. I think consciousness evolves in exchange with other humans. Now, once it's there, I think it's accessing a lot of stuff, but some of it may come in through our body, actually. I think our body may be receiving things too.
Yeah.
I saw a video this morning.
So I agree with you.
I love that.
I both agree with you and I disagree with you.
Very few people do agree with me.
Yeah, I saw a video this morning of the point at which a sperm touches an egg and there's a flash of light. And the theory was that's where when the soul enters the body. Can you look up sperm and egg?
Why? But you got to get really careful. Why would a light mean anything? Who cares?
I don't know. What is the light?
I don't know what that is, but is it a photon? Is it what that was?
Yeah,
it released because of some subatomic energy? Whatever. I don't know. So there's a light. So what? I visible zinc sparks.
Can it be a soul?
Or zinc sparks in our soul? Okay. Now soulness. Let's talk about soul, because that's an interesting topic, right?
Okay, soul.
Because in recovery, you got to get in touch with your soul,
Sure.
right? I'm just not entirely clear what that is, and I'm not even sure that it exists. I'm not sure, but I think we know what we're talking about, right? And I think it has value, whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
And I think it can be experienced. And I think it might be it's definitely in touch with other souls. The question is it in touch with some collective soul of some type, which it might be.
I think that it's defined in some kind of spiritual circles as consciousness is like a sort of our mind level individuality.
Yeah.
And then the
soul, I would think, in the program,
and then super conscious is God level, and then there's one in between.
Well, I would imagine that when you very quickly, when you talk about soul, you get into some sort of spiritual something. Right. And I think that's real. I don't know quite what I mean by the word real necessarily, but I think it's important. Let's put it that way. And I don't think we do enough connecting to that these days, I would argue. I think we have a spiritual vacuum, and I think it's important. Whether it's real in the sense that it's language starts to fail at a certain point in these conversations.
Sure. Yeah. How absolutely awful and destructive is our cell phone addictions?
I don't know what's on my phone right now.
Well, I guess what's worse, cell phones or social media?
Well, it's all the same, right? Screen addictions and what we do with our screens. Well, there's no doubt. I think we've had this conversation about tobacco now for the last, as long as I've been sitting here. I think we will look at cell phones the way we look at tobacco in 20 years. I really believe that. How could we look at it otherwise? Right. The problem is it also is an important instrument, an important tool, and does all kinds of good things. But it is hurting people's souls. And porn addiction, we don't have any idea what that's doing. Porn exposure at a young age, we have no idea. And then the preoccupation with it and the experiencing of self, we have no idea what the impact's going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, just the concept that I got to go take a dump. Imagine if I didn't have my phone.
I know.
To be scrolling.
I know.
The dopamine hit that.
It is. Do you, as an addict, you notice it bad? Is it tougher? Because your system sort of calmed down now, but
I find it really alarming how much I feel engaged with YouTube videos about how bad it's like, wait a second, now we're making YouTube videos to talk about how like constantly consuming. Makes me feel good about being a content creator. Because people are so addicted to the constant
I get that. When I was sick with COVID, I was just by myself, and I started going down crazy rabbit holes on TikTok, and I was so grateful for the content parade. I really was I really, this minute I can feel that gratitude because I was alone. I had nothing except misery, and they kind of got my mind off it. And so it's not all bad. That's what's struggling about this. We don't know what to do with it.
You called it the content parade.
Yeah.
That's great.
Did I say that?
I thought I just heard you say that.
I might have. I was saying content provider in my head, but parade is interesting.
It's a parade of content.
Yeah.
And then using the phone first thing in the morning. I meditate generally for 25 minutes before.
That's good.
I keep track of it with my phone, so.
It's like anything which is potentially a problem. Balance, right?
Yeah.
Balance it. You can eat Doritos when you want. Just don't eat them all day.
If I tiptoe out of line, it's all.
Okay, well, you've got to know that about yourself.
Yeah, I do.
Is that still even everything?
Everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I tiptoe out of line, if I just think, just this one day I'll have.
Have you always known that, or is it?
Yeah.
And is it? What would be the least noxious thing that you would tiptoe out of line with in terms of consequences?
If I gave him a cookie right now and he ate the cookie knowingly, I guarantee he's on his way to like Sun Cafe and getting like a carrot cake or.
Well, yeah,
but where would that stop? Is what I'm wondering.
It stops at pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization where I'm reaching out to his brother and saying I hate myself.
2 hours later or 2 months later?
Months.
Oh, you'd go out on a run.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I go on a run.
I love that.
Not even months, like a year.
See, I do that kind of thing, but it resolves certainly in the morning, and certainly usually about an hour or two later when I have a shame spiral.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I hate the way I look. I know that
it goes everywhere.
I know that the implications on my health are terrible.
Yeah.
I hate.
Would you go to maybe full relapse mode? Would you go to substances, do you think? Or would it stay with the sugar?
I don't like.
It would probably go in reverse order from when you started.
But you could think that through, right? The substances.
But it's like I don't think that I would go to substances just because I have
the tools.
Such an infrastructure built around that.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the behavior with the food is the same behavior. It's the same powerlessness.
You know what? I'm wondering if your listeners are feeling to hear you say that makes me feel really good, because I got a whiff of that and I've always hated it and I don't like it. But your manifestation with it is so extraordinary that it makes me feel like, okay, this isn't so bad. I can manage this, and you manage it, so I can manage my little version of it.
Right. I just as a rule in my life, I have to just concede that I cannot moderate anything. Moderation is
no. I was going to ask you about the sex addiction because you were way into that recovery for a while, and
I've got over 7 years of sexual sobriety.
But I thought you sort of stepped away from it at one point.
I did, I suppose.
I think that's that one needs some attention. Not for you, but I think in the world, I'm seeing a lot of it these days, and no one's really talking about recovery from it.
Scott and I are both double winners in that regard.
Do you know what I mean?
I see some people talking about it
help me understand what you mean by step away from it.
People aren't calling out.
I don't know. The last time I talked to you about it, which was a while ago, you went, "No, I'm masturbating" or something. You just said, I'm not going to meetings or something. You just said, "I'm just not doing it." But not the way you were doing it. That's all.
I think because
by the way, I thought the way you were doing it was much. It was a lot.
Yeah, I stuntified my sexual
in fact, I remember
recovery.
having a conversation with you about sexual anorexia versus compulsion.
I went celibate, meaning that I did not ejaculate for 400.
Did God do it for you, or no? The God didn't even help?
In my dream, like I would
that's
dream,
God.
I'd be like, oh, I can't lose my time.
Right.
Really?
In my dream, I'd be like, oh no, that's gonna be a relapse. I've
wake up, go pee. Maybe that's where the pee came
myself from. But yeah, so.
But I was doing a thing for Harvey Levin yesterday, and we were talking about Jennifer Lopez and her her inability to be alone and serial monogamy, and then going back to idealized partners. And I thought, well, that's love addiction. It's love and sex addiction, particularly with women. That's how they get it. And I thought, God, no one would ever talk about her in that way, and yet she could help people if people, because it's there may be other things, attachment problems. People can have avoidant and anxious attachments, and that that's sort of the basis of all this. But looking at it as sex and love addiction really helps people, and no one's really talking about it right now.
Well, I mean, in the rooms you see famous people, and you see them at their lowest level, and you're like, oh, they're just like me
for sex and love.
Yeah.
See, I'm amazed they come into the rooms, because I think there's so much stigma.
Yeah.
And now there's Zoom, so you can do it more easily.
Like they have to go to the rooms,
Oh, they've done something.
Or they're trying.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, actually.
Well, there's a bunch of people like that. So you're trying to get in front of it.
I actually have helped those people go to the rooms, because when they start out, they are not thinking about going to the rooms.
Right.
They do not want to do that, because there's so much shame and guilt and stuff attached to it. But I don't know. It feels like it's because of the phone, that it's time that become more of a, because the porn addiction is just taking everybody out. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, we need to talk about that more. So hope you guys will.
I got porn is my middle circle, the yellow light behavior.
So you can do a little porn these days.
But I don't. I've been really good for.
You think that's just like a maturing thing, or like your libido's not so strong, or you're just kind of over it?
I'm just scared of it, man. Like, I don't want to.
I just think you're getting old, Steve.
Nah,
Let's get back to the topic of the day.
To watch porn for me, I just see that as such a threat to my relationship with Lux.
So it is, and you used a shorthand that we all three know. So let me just make it explicit. When you go in sex love addiction, or sex addiction particularly, you do a circle plan. And outer circles are healthy activities, inner circle, middle circle sort of, you might want to watch it.
It's like red light, yellow light, green light.
And the inner circle, red light, do not do these things.
That constitutes a relapse.
A relapse,
Yeah.
Well, maybe even for the listeners that have no idea what to even put in there. I mean, some of the examples you can put that people don't even think about. Like for me, it was anonymous sex without a condom. Or it was,
you think?
But
barebacking is in the red zone. Wow.
Barebacking with someone whose name you don't know.
Or or sex before 3 dates, or transactional sex, or any of that.
One of the things that I'm no expert in that. I love the euphemisms in sex and recovery too. Transactional sex.
Yeah.
Visiting a prostitute.
Sure.
But it's qualifiers. The qualifiers are out there. But there is a part in sex and love addiction that I'm not expert in it, so I'm sort of mysterious about. For me, is how people contend with the qualifier. Don't you hurt other people, and don't they react when you try to get in recovery and stuff? How does that work? I don't understand how people act out sexually without hurting other people, and that having so many consequences. Do you select co-addicts? Is that how it prevents from
getting
start
dating again?
About ninth step stuff?
No, I've noticed that isn't that the word qualifiers?
Qualifiers is just someone who you act out with.
But qualifiers often I don't hear a lot of qualifiers complaining. I would think I would see qualifiers going, I was so hurt, I thought we had a relationship, or we had sex. I never hear that. Is that because they're already in their own shame and guilt, or are they also co-addicts? And you guys select co-addicts when you're acting out.
I think there's just such a whole spectrum of it, and I think that there's plenty of qualifiers who
are
upset.
Okay.
And they probably wouldn't have something wrong with them.
But they're ashamed, so they don't talk about it, I guess, or something. Yeah. Or they go on to the next one.
I mean, it's like most alcoholics attract Al-Anons.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like the reason why we're in their spheres because they're effed
but
up
Al-Anon, you go into a room, they're complaining. You know what I mean? There's complaints. It's like they complain too much.
Yeah, and they're always like an hour and a half meetings. It's just like drives me nuts.
And this is not. And please don't come after me. I am a huge. everybody go to Al-Anon. It's one thing I tell family and patients. I just go, look, you'll say you do anything for your loved one. I'm telling you to do one thing. Go on Al-Anon, get a sponsor, do the steps. 9 times out of 10, I have to keep begging them to go.
They're offended when you ask them to go.
It's not me. They go, they're offended, and it's not me. Or, yeah, but what do I do with Susie, who's my identified patient or whatever, or Joan?
Yeah, I'll listen to like an Al-Anon meeting when I'm driving sometimes. I mean, not because I'm dating somebody that's alcoholic, but because all my friends are alcoholics. They're recovered, but like we're still all crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's who I all surround myself with, and so sometimes it's good to.
Scott, your recovery's come along. You're seeing things more clearly these days.
Yeah, thank you. Now I just got to get my weight under control, and then I'll be.
Well, your brother is right there to help. He's rebelling against his brother.
His brother's so careful to not be pushy about it.
I get it.
Well, and I shouldn't have.
By the way, what is your food thing?
Your brother doesn't need to sponsor you, but it's like, hey, join the team.
I don't eat bad. I eat more than enough for 2 people.
Yeah, you're an addict.
Yeah.
What
Well, yeah. What are you looking at? Paulie's Deli. My vice is a chicken parm from Uncle Paulie's.
Oh, it looks so good.
I mean, like
this guy did.
I eat a ton, but just by not eating flour and sugar.
I was on the carnivore for 3 years, carnivore diet, and it was easy for me. And it was Catherwood, my former Loveline partner, and we were doing this podcast called Swole Patrol at the time. And he was like, dude, you got to do diet. I'm like, who am I trying to impress? Yeah, I'm like, come on. And then I went, I could do that carnivore thing. I could do that. That looks easy to me. And I did it for years. Easy. It was easy. I gained 14 pounds. I still ate too much. You can still gain on the carnivore. And so I went to something a little more balanced.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, let's talk about your medical kit that we've been promoting.
Oh, you've been promoting it? So this is in the zone of what I was complaining about, bringing control
healthcare in the
hands of the patient. So do you know who Dr. Kelly Victory is? She's a colleague of mine. She was co-hosting with me on some things.
I'm reasonably sure that we will, at this point in this episode, have already done an ad break for.
Okay, maybe Kelly's even in there, you do. You read the ad break.
Yeah.
Okay, look at the travel kit. Get the travel kit, because that's the one I really was involved with. You should not go anywhere without this travel kit. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It's a way of avoiding having to go to urgent care if you're out on the road in this country, and if you're another country, it's a lifesaver. Mm-hmm. It's everything. We thought of everything. We put it all in there. Whether it's seasickness or infectious diarrheas or what, we just thought of everything. Any event. This colleague of mine said, I brought her onto the medical board with this group, with a few other guys. We brought her in, and she goes, if this were maybe 5 years ago and you told me you were doing this, I would have thought, I get it, but I think you're crazy to do this. Now she goes, now I think you're crazy if you don't. If you don't do stuff like this, because we have seen what this government is capable of doing to the medical system, and you have to be prepared for next time. You have to have it in your hands, because our profession has been adulterated. We do not behave appropriately in an emergency. If our employers tell us no, or the insurance company tells us no, or some regulator tells us no, we get scared and we freeze. Patients need to be able to take care of themselves and their families. So the kids have manuals so you can research everything you're using, and we have telehealth backup. And it's the day of telehealth. We're just talking about recovery. I think Zoom will change sex and love addiction recovery too, because the bar is lower to coming in, right? They're not as ashamed to go in.
Right.
Yeah, teledocs are huge.
Zoom's crucial. I mean, I'm living out in Tennessee, and it would be very difficult for me to be really plugged into my program were it not for Zoom.
And if you not to have one of our emergency kits out there, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Seriously, I've got one upstairs. I'm going to make you go home with it.
I mean, I've got the red one.
Okay, good. That's the one.
I haven't seen the green one.
There's some other stuff coming out too that Dr. Victory was involved with. That the guys that run this program are so good, and they're sourcing stuff that is incredibly expensive now. We're sourcing it on a cost-effective basis. That things that you would have to go to an emergency room to get, we're going to get for you at a reasonable price. So just stay tuned for that stuff. I can't really talk about it yet, but that's
Cool.
going to be awesome.
Title for this episode: Dr. Drew calls Steve-O and Scott a couple pussies.
No, old farts. I call it. I said it a couple
Jews.
different ways. I said it
Yeah.
alta cockers. I said it in Yiddish even.
Yeah, I
What's
mean,
an alta cocker?
It's like an old fart, like an old a super high old person. Like
Yeah.
alta is high, cocker is old man.
That's funny.
High
Yeah.
old man.
Just arguing about our health.
Yeah,
think
you
we-
guys are, but I'm aware that your recovery has come along in the way you're talking. It's different.
Oh, is it a good thing?
Yeah. I don't know if it's you're more serious about it or just more time under your belt or whatever it is, or maybe the.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's got 11 years
I just
now.
got 11 years.
And last time I saw you was like 6 years ago. That was 5 years. And did you bring other stuff in, like the sex and love stuff? Is that why?
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
I
for
think I
sure.
see that. I can
And now
see
it's
it on
just
you.
food.
You keep complaining about it like you're helpless. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't. I need help.
How much do you need to lose? He wants Ozempic. That's what he's angry.
No.
about.
No. I'm sure he doesn't want that.
I'm 215. I would like to be 180.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard. I know.
And
you-
like
you-
when Scott and I started working together, it was a regular occurrence that a woman, a girl, would just come up to him and say, "You are the most beautiful man I've ever seen." You know, like just like.
So you're saying I'm ugly now?
My sister said Scott is uncomfortably attractive. Like, I'm not saying you're ugly now,
So
but
that's
I'm
why
saying that your potential to look good is not being maximized.
Yeah, that's
You're
fair.
not being full. Your potential's not being fulfilled for who you actually are.
And I'll throw your
Have
brother
you
under the bus.
experiment-
He says like in there is like Brad Pitt. Brad
You know,
Pitt's like,
you know what
it's
my
just in
thing.
there.
I think that you got to experiment with things, right? You got to find what kind of works for you.
I need a biohack.
Some people it's certain supplements. Some people it's Ozempic. Some people my problem is appetite management. If I can be, my problem is some of yours. Once I start eating, I can't stop. Right.
Yeah.
And so if I can kind of manage my appetite during the day and really not eat and not get started, I do great.
What do you
So
think about
that's-
intermittent fasting?
Well, that's sort of the zone I go towards.
Yeah.
I'm not really in that zone, but it really helps me manage my appetite. So then when I sit down to eat, I can eat normally somehow. I'm okay. I'm more in balance. I'm wondering what it is your thing. Is it just the yummy, the chicken parm,
It's just
Pasta.
boredom.
the choices,
Yeah.
and boredom to me.
But even if I eat sushi, I'll eat like I just will order
you
too
can't
much,
stop.
and then I
so
won't.
boredom to me, when an addict says boredom, I hear depression. So I'm wondering how your mood is.
I mean, it's like content.
You don't feel depressed.
No, I'm not sad.
okay.
I'm just kind of like,
Flat. You're flat.
yeah.
There may be a little bit of boredom in there. I mean, of depression
depression.
in with the boredom.
Yeah. It's just because I'm not sad. Maybe it is.
Well, but depression is an insidious thing, right? It's early awakening, appetite changes. Don't have to be
Early
sad.
awakening?
Yeah,
I wake up at like 5.
yeah, and can't go back to sleep. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
I'm in bed by like 9, up at 5.
oh well, that's early awakening means before you want to wake up. 9 to 5 is plenty of sleep. You're good.
Yeah. But I couldn't sleep in if you had a gun in my head. Like I just.
That's not early awakening. Early awakening is 2 a.m, doing, and I for no good reason. So I don't know. Pay attention. The exercise is a key ingredient.
I'm trying to play tennis every night.
Yeah.
He's burning calories and playing tennis.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Relationships, how are they?
I've been seeing somebody, but not really.
Yeah.
Like just kind of long distance.
Yeah.
Probably safer that way.
Career-wise, feel good. You
Feel
feel
good.
excited.
Yeah.
You just see, because addicts have to be careful. Like, right? They can be like bipolar patients. They kind of can sink into stuff because they're used to like a lot. You have
Yeah.
to be careful. And usually it's other people that fill that void.
Maybe it's just comfort eating too. I don't know.
That's the void thing, right? What are you smiling about?
Well, I
Steve?
mean, I'm just like.
Yeah, what's going on over
do
there?
you worry about him with this stuff too, or am I going
I
down?
mean,
a,
I don't like. I love Scott.
but am I going down a
like,
path that you've thought
I
about,
don't-
or that it seems irrelevant?
No, I mean, I don't know. I just know that he's exercising his butt off with the.
Well,
with
but
the
you have to
tennis stuff.
also you have to
Yeah.
put in less.
To
Yeah.
quote his brother, you're never gonna outrun your fork.
I love that.
Yeah, outrun a bad diet.
He's right.
You're never gonna outrun your
and you're so
fork.
when you get into balance with diet, you feel so much better too. You don't have these hungers and these urges and these drives and stuff so much.
And I feel like you care about your health so much, and so it feels almost like a vicious cycle, you know.
Yeah.
Like you care about how you look, you care about how healthy you are, and there's just like some kind of resistance, you know. Like there's you tell your brother, you tell me, like, you know, at some point I'll be ready. At some point I'll be ready, and
Oh, boy.
it feels like you're saying, like you're telling.
That's
us
what
that,
Steve used to tell me about his drug addiction. He used to,
Yeah, I mean, I
remember?
guess it's the same thing because it is life or death. I mean, my cholesterol and whatever.
He would
Right.
tell me exactly that.
Yeah. At some point, I'll be ready. I'm just not ready yet. And it's, God, Drew, that's very, very profound.
Yeah,
and
right? It is.
impactful that you make that
Yeah.
point. It's like you're saying that, you know, no, my conscious, deliberate decision today is to disregard my health.
Well, it's kind of like a type A thing, you know. Most addicts quit on a Monday. Like, no, I'm not going to quit this weekend. I'll quit on them. It's better mentally for me. And I reached out to my doctor and I said, can you get me in with a nutritionist? And she said, I'm sorry, I can't refer you because your body mass index is
Isn't high
below
enough.
35%.
But you can still go pay for nutritionists. They just
Yeah.
insurance won't cover it. I mean, why do you need it?
I don't know.
And-
I think I'm just looking at it for excuses.
I don't think that it's like the craziest emergency, but I want you to have the best life that you can have, you know, and anybody who loves you wants that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So-
not like life or death over here, but it's like
It's quality of life. I
it's
think.
quality of life.
It's quality.
I've gotten very focused on this stuff lately. I really think we, again, all the stuff we're talking about, it's so interesting to me that we're talking about this. Our conversation today is very different than it was 5 years ago, right? And we're talking about things that, it's not just your struggles. These are things that are going on right now for everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's food or sex and love or not exercising properly. And I'm finding myself, I've always sort of gravitated to what I think is important for the time. This is where I'm gravitating right now. I've got involved with exercise and nutrition sort of programs and stuff, and motivating print things to help people do that, and putting control in the hands of patients for healthcare and stuff. It's weird. When I sit here and think about how different this conversation is than 5 years ago, we are in a different place as a country, and your recovery is a lot better, but you've got this one little piece left.
Yeah.
That's all.
I know.
You don't beat yourself up for it.
No, I
mean,
mean,
you
thank
know-
God I'm playing tennis. Like, I'm playing a lot. Like, if I wasn't playing tennis, I'd be in a worse spot because I'm not working out at all, but at least I'm like doing some high end for an hour and a half a day of just
Read Peter Attia's book Outlive, please.
And we do know that it's like 80% diet, maybe 20% exercise,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
For weight loss.
Yeah.
For weight loss, yeah. But for longevity and things, the resistance training is a really important ingredient.
Peter Attia Outlive. Okay, we'll wrap it up with a little to-do list. I need a calcium score. We both need uric acid tests
Ooh.
Well,
to
certainly
determine
Scott needs it.
to
Here's
determine
Peter.
our kidney stone
Well,
risk.
you don't. Do you have kidney stones?
I just don't want them.
Okay. Uric
So we're
acid.
like-
It's not 100% predictive, but it's an indicator of trouble.
Yeah,
So-
my grandpa, my dad, all my uncles. I mean, it's
Well, watch your oxalate intake. That's all. Just don't drink. Well, I don't know. I
Sparkling
love coffee.
water?
Yeah, more sparkling water. Good. More liquid death. Good.
Yeah, liquid death is great.
Get some aluminum exposure. See,
Is
this,
that-
you know, you can't. Biology is so complicated. Just live your life. I don't like that you're beating yourself up about the food. I don't like that.
yeah. Starting right now, I won't anymore.
You need some inspiration or some type. But it's,
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm like, I'm just so thrilled that I just got to a point where I was like, all right, today's the day, and I'm gonna do.
Do you ever think about riding a motorcycle off a building or anything? You want to, your food take you there? So-
Yeah,
No.
I mean, dude, I've lost almost 20 pounds, man. It's,
Good for you.
You know, and
I lost the 15. I lost
I'm at a point where it doesn't like I'm not even trying to lose anymore. I'm just maintaining.
Yeah,
So
I get
feel
that.
great.
I get that.
Okay, and is that it for my to-do list?
No, wait. So uric acid, calcium score, Peter Tia's book,
Peter Tia's book on audiobook is going to be the
Get a travel kit to your house.
Travel kit, emergency kit, the red one.
Yeah, I did.
No,
The red one,
he's
yeah,
got
we
a couple of those.
Oh, then travel kit. You got the emergency.
I have all of them in my house.
Contagion emergency might be a bad one for you. And then
lighten the fuck up.
lighten up.
Yeah, lighten up and live.
Well, or maybe we,
Oh, I got another question. And at my ranch in Tennessee, there's crazy ticks, but I think that's anywhere where
yeah, but you got to be careful, man. Tick-borne illnesses. I've been predicting bubonic plague here soon because it follows the kind of tick-borne illnesses that are coming. It just comes, and the rat population is so huge in Los Angeles now. Is the rat-borne flea and tick stuff. Is really bad.
Okay, well, and I'm in Tennessee.
So let's see what tick-borne disease, tick-borne illness in Tennessee. Look that up.
How do you know if you have?
Here we have
tick?
endemic typhus. How do you know if you have a tick? You find it on your body.
That Lone Star tick. We see a lot of those guys.
Ehrlichiosis is bad. Anaplasmosis. Rickettsiosis. Oh, jeez. With spotted fever, rickettsiosis is Rocky Mountain spotted fever, I think. So Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever are the bad ones. Yeah, be careful. And Lyme is just awful.
Is there anything that we could be doing to
mitigate your risk?
Mitigate our risk, to identify, like,
keep the repellents on when you go outside.
I do that.
And then if you see it, if you have even a suspicion of a bite, take some doxycycline. That medicine we're talking about for STDs
give you gonorrhea.
is also for Lyme disease.
Dude, there was one day where in one day I pulled 4 of them out of my skin, which were embedded.
Were embedded?
Yeah, they were totally embedded.
Oh no, I would. Did you have any? If you have any,
you want us to go out there?
I know if you have any rash that emerges in or around the bite, take the tetracycline.
Is it in the emergency kit?
No. Well, geez, I think we have it in the Contagion kit. Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I'm going to be giving it out for sexually transmitted disease soon. So,
Okay.
Cool.
Oh goodness.
What any test that to catch these tick-borne illnesses?
Yeah, but
early?
it's when you're sick though. It actually, you do acute and convalescing titers, so you actually measure what you are when you're sick versus afterwards. Okay. So it's rough, man. Tick and the flea. It's flea and ticks, by the way. Fleas out here are really bad.
I bought a 25-gallon spraying thing. Like the toes behind the UTV with a boom that's and spraying the whole trail, and I haven't seen a tick since I did that.
And out here, it's the rat fleas that are really the problem. That it's all rickettsial disease is what we're talking about here.
All right.
Something else for you to worry about, Scott.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
my son got it. He got murine typhus. He got it when he was like 9. It's terrible. And when I started seeing that happen, and then I started seeing that we're eliminating all the rat poisons and stuff, and we've got homeless encampments where the rats are going crazy, and here it comes. It's coming.
Jesus.
Wow. All right. Well, on that happy note.
The point is, look, we are biological beings. A lot of shit can get us. Live your life. Please enjoy your life. That's very, very important.
And lift weights.
Resistance training as you age. It's very important.
Okay.
All right. I love you, Drew.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. That was a good one, Drew.
All right.
There you have it, Dr. Drew, folks. He's been a good buddy of mine for decades now. Literally decades I've known Dr. Drew. Dude, 2006, almost 20 years ago, he came with me in a limo to the red carpet of the second Jackass movie with Ron Jeremy. In the limo with my 4-year-old niece. Dude, how nuts is that? I was not sober at the time either. I was in a death spiral. So yeah, dude, I just love Dr. Drew. And I love you. And man, today I was on a podcast called X5. And I poured my heart out. It was fun and funny, and I just poured my heart out. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you that happened today, and that I will be sharing that, God damn. It was a heavy day today. And I fucking love you. So thank you for sticking around to the very end, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Yeah, dude.